We're just finally now starting to see the update that Valve has had on the CS2 investing market inside of their latest update, and it's absolutely insane. If we want to break down just the Fever and the Gallery case, there's so much already with these two cases specifically. If we want to look at our Fever case, it's pulled back down to a price we really expected to see. Obviously, it was inflated for a little bit as people were redeeming the Gallery case. Now it's just a Fever case that is left, and we can see that price point's down to maybe $1.10, $1.20. It's probably going to be sticking right around this range, as obviously people still are picking these up as an investment, but more so the Gallery case is starting to go absolutely insane. We're seeing this price point go up significantly higher than what it was previously sitting at, and a lot of people thought it was a little overinflated then. Obviously, this is now seeming to be a discontinued case. The opportunities are theoretically endless with something like this. If we want to look at our Riptide, our Shattered Web, our Broken Fang, they are extremely expensive. If we want to come back to the Gallery case, we can see the fundamentals are extremely strong right now. We want to look at our boxing numbers. We can see that there's something absolutely crazy for the Gallery case, but there really wasn't for the past couple of months anyways. Everything was all about the Fever when it came to this, and talking about our Gallery case, it's in a very solid position just because the supply is now capped, and I'm really liking what I'm seeing. Skinland is today's sponsor, and they're also sponsoring you with their brand new instant sale system. Starting off today, you're going to be getting a free $10 on your first trade, and you're going to be able to get that money instantly. It's not going to take 7 days to get paid with Skinland. You can do it in just minutes after Valve's latest update. Best part is they've got tons of different payout options, and don't forget to use code MasterShiny to get everything you're looking for. They're the safest option if you're looking to sell your CS2 skins, plus their massive marketplace offering every single thing you're looking for if you're trying to buy CS2 skins as well, and a ton of different deposit options. So don't wait, use code MasterShiny and get paid instantly for your CS2 skins. However, getting into the most interesting part of this latest update, obviously we got the brand new items for the Armory, and we finally got some prices to figure out exactly where items are sitting at, and it's extremely interesting because right now the ROIs are actually quite abysmal. If you want to look at our stickers specifically to start it off, we can see that neither of them are really in the top 5 for unboxing ROIs. In fact, all 4 of these brand new items are at the bottom 4. We can see the community collection stickers is a little bit higher than the Sugar Face 2. Now the Sugar Face 2 is not a surprise because this collection sucks. It's only 9 stickers, it's not anything special, and we've already got the Sugar Face one, which was a 99-cent capsule you can unbox. Not too surprising to see this one low. The community sticker collection has a lot more opportunity inside of it. I will definitely say there's nothing in this that I stand out as being extremely impressive. Obviously the Chrome Dome Hollow is extremely expensive right now, and that's probably going to be a continuing trend. It seems like people are really infatuated with this hollow. Otherwise, there is some pretty good looking blue stickers, but I'm not making any investment just yet. These things are going to be heavily oversupplied for a long time. We don't even know when these things are going to get removed. We've got a long trajectory ahead, but it's a very cool collection to have inside of the current market, and I'm excited to see the application rates once they start coming out. Now, before we get into the really important information, we got the 2 brand new charm collections right now. We got the Missing Link community charms, which are very interesting, and coming out with one of the most expensive charms we've seen in a while called Little Boo. This one is definitely going to be at the top of most people's list, and then we've got some other variations coming in here which are actually quite valuable as well at other levels. It's very interesting how many charms are just purely packed into this collection, and there's a lot of opportunity when it comes to it, except in terms of the ROI. This is the highest ROI that we're seeing for the charm collections that were added in at 95.61%. The Dr. Boom is lower than this. That's what that means. And talking about our Dr. Boom charms, we can see exactly why. That's because the purple value is nearly 50% of what it is for the Missing Link community charms, and that's where a lot of this unboxing ROI value does come from. Now, talking about the Dr. Boom as a whole, there are some very cool charms in here. The problem really comes down to the fact that it does not seem like the demand is necessarily matching the supply for something like this. We've got a lot of people unboxing these brand new charms, and although they are definitely valuable and desirable, it doesn't seem like they're at the levels that we were seeing for the other charm collections. Therefore, right now, I would highly suggest avoiding to redeeming your stars on these right now. We're going to level out. We're going to see exactly where the ROIs sit, but you can go ahead and get 150% with the other 2 collections, and right now you can barely get 100% with these 2. I think it's a very clear no-brainer. Now, when it comes to the question of what you should be doing right now with your stars, I think there's a couple options. First up, the Elemental Craft sticker collection is at 200% ROI. However, if we want to look at what happened with the Fever case, it's very possible that now everyone's going to be putting their stars into that, and the price could theoretically crash. Now, I don't actually think it's going to be crashing much, but it could crash down below 200% ROI. I think that part's nearly guaranteed. It's going to come back down. Sport and Field could be a very good option if you're looking for a little bit more risky. It's actually at 185%. That's insane and significantly higher than I would expect. Overall, there's a lot of great options right now, just really not any of the new items when it comes to actually getting a guaranteed or at least a more likely strong ROI. And finally, before we get into the huge change, we got the Austin Major. Just breaking down everything going on inside of this area. There's nothing really too special going on. We can see a lot of these prices have really started to kind of stagnate out, kind of reach their point of medium, which is really interesting to see, as obviously these ROIs are still relatively high, but the overall demand for Austin has never shown to be absolutely outstanding. Not really too big of a surprise inside of this specific situation. I will definitely say right now the overall sticker market is just kind of hyped up. You've got the Enfu capsule, the Perfect World, the Warhammer, all of these significantly over 100%, so I would be very wary of just everything in general for stickers. Obviously, Austin is not the same as a capsule you can purchase for $1 from Valve, but they are all stickers, and it seems like right now this market is a little bit more questionable and unstable, but it's very interesting to see nonetheless. However, getting into now what is the major problem I've been alluding to all video, and it comes back to this graph we mentioned earlier right here. If you want to look at it, this is one that I commonly refer to inside of my videos. We got the red line, which is the unboxing numbers, and we got the blue line, which is the cases that are being dropped by Valve inside of your weekly rotation. Obviously, you can get one a week, you go ahead, claim it. Now, there's a 99% chance it's an active duty case, 1% it's a rare. Not necessarily too concerned about that aspect. I'm more concerned about the fact that it is down nearly 50 to 60%, and that really comes back to this tweet from Skinland, today's sponsor, right here. As you can see, it seems like the Genesis terminal is making up a pretty significant amount of the current drops. Now, we don't know if this is necessarily a short-term thing or if it's going to be prolonged, but there is a very clear difference of the fact that this is taking up a lot of the case drops out there right now, and that's extremely important because if we want to look at our case market, it was barely staying afloat before. These are our active duty cases right here. As you can see, the majority of them were getting a very slim margin of new cases coming in compared to the amount that were being unboxed. That's extremely important because if we want to look previously in many years ago, this was not the case at all. Overall, this is why we've seen the case inflation of prices at the bare level, because obviously you can't have a 3-cent case when there's barely any cases to go around as it is. Now, what exactly does something like this mean for you? Well, first up, it really reduced the amount of active duty cases that are going to be coming into the game by around 20%, which is extremely important, especially if you're someone that's investing into active duty cases. It's very unlikely that unless we see something major happen, things are going to be changing drastically to the point that we see active duty cases becoming extremely cheap again, but they're definitely still not going to be guaranteed great investments. More importantly though, it really comes down to the case market overall. Right now, rare cases just get significantly more valuable in my personal opinion. That's because their competition got a little bit worse. The biggest competition to rare cases is active duty cases because they're cheaper, they're easier to unbox, and they're much more plentiful, but they just got a little bit worse in terms of being able to unbox them, a little bit harder per se, and that's really good for the rare case market. If we want to look at our prices right now, we can see that the rare case market has rebounded because of all this information. We had a little bit of a slump, and ever since Valve came out with that update, we've seen a significant upward mobility for a lot of these case prices. I'm really excited to see what exactly this area leads into, but right now there is a huge opportunity when it comes to rare cases and also potentially active duty, although I'm definitely a little bit more weary of those specifically. At the end of the day, I wouldn't necessarily be making any rash decisions because of this data in this exact moment, but it's very important to know because this is going to be influencing the rest of the case market, and it's a very important sign of what Valve is potentially doing next. But that's all I got with you guys for watching. Have a great rest of your day.